Oops, guess what? I remember some things. So some things that I did not, I wasn't clear on probably, and some things I just forgot to mention. So let me try to run through them real fast. So first of all, understand that a hysterectomy means no more babies are going to be had, like none. So if it's, I think they usually try not to do it on too young of women. So like in their 20s, you don't really see it too tough unless it's super necessary. If there's some sort of, don't know what happened with my phone, but unless there's some sort of cancer going on, or something major, will they opt for a hysterectomy? But they don't usually do that in young women. Um, Sometimes they'll do it in the 30s and stuff, but again, normally not so, because women typically don't have, they may not have had children yet. So they are sort of cognizant, I guess, about whether or not a woman has had children or will want to have children in the future. But ultimately, you have to do what's best health wise. But do understand, men, that if your woman has to have a hysterectomy, that means that she would no longer be able to have children, whether she has already had children or not. Um, when I said before about no intimacy being had during like around normally 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes it can be longer, sometimes it can be shorter. Absolutely up to the doctor, because the doctor does the internal exam. You can't just say like, well, you driving now, you going up and down the stairs, why I can't get some? That's not how it works, because there's a lot going on inside that you do not see. And women, we hold it down even when we're in pain or going through things. So you do have to wait. But I want to make clear, when I said no intimacy, I mean sexual intercourse or like masturbation. So I'm not sure if it's the whole 4 to 6 weeks for like like oral or again masturbation or something, but I know for like that first 2 weeks, not supposed to do that. You have some women who hard head, but yeah, you're not supposed to, because again, there's a lot going on the inside. But I mean, you can be intimate so far as snuggling, kissing, all that kind of thing, but you don't want to do anything that would become detrimental. And then make it where you have to wait even longer. Just go ahead, ride this one out. Come with some other creative stuff. Watch some movies, Netflix and chill, something like that. um, then something I didn't fully, I guess I hinted at but didn't fully mention, is when the ovaries are taken out. I said that hormonally, women go through a lot, from hot flashes to exhaustion and things like that. But understand that it is bringing on menopause. So when they take out the ovaries, it's like, I guess, immediate, really, menopause, which brings on a whole lot. You might want to look into that too, because with menopause, there's mood changes and all sorts of things that she going through menopause, you're going through menopause. So you might want to look into those sorts of things also. Um, I mentioned about the taking of the cervix, but I didn't really go too much into it. So a lot of people opt to have it taken out because they're afraid of possibly getting cervical cancer somewhere down the line, even if they're not showing any, reason to have that fear. But a lot of people like to keep it in for different reasons. One, sometimes like the bladder can prolapse and kind of drop in the vaginal canal. So that don't sound fun. But also, a lot of people like to keep their cervix for sexual reasons. Um, for like people who may like deep penetration and stuff. I mentioned that in another video, I think. They like to keep the cervix, but it's not just for sexual purposes, but that's the added benefit. Um, Also, I've been told by men, and I've read a lot from women who have said their men have told them that men do not feel any difference when it comes to sex. So don't worry about that. But what I've learned from these women, I don't know if it's like partial and total hysterectomies, but certainly from those who get total hysterectomies, they say their sex life is crazy, okay? Some people say like no, they're dry and they just don't like it. Some people, a couple of people have even said like they have more pain than they did before hysterectomy, but the vast majority, honey, is talking about that WAP. Saying that like their climate, like we're all grown here, so their orgasms are like crazy, okay? So it really, really worked out for them. It really, really worked out for them. So that's another thing. So don't really panic too much, I guess, that, you know, the sex may be different for you, because from what I'm hearing, it's not. And also, I ever hear some women talk about how they have a new vagina because there's like a tightness that they had lost from giving birth and stuff like that. Moringa. I mentioned about moringa powder and how it helps to shrink fibroids, which is true. But also, let me put out there that for iron, for your hemoglobin and your high iron, it is really, 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 really good. Moringa is good for a slew of ailments and such. You can like look that up. Moringa, and they even have it in some of the supermarkets now. I know they sell it at Wegmans, which Wegmans isn't everywhere, I suppose, but it's a regular old grocery store, but it's kind of like high class, high sedity. So they have a lot of they have a lot more quality stuff. Not really like Whole Foods, but you know, you can find it there, and I'm sure you can find it other places. You can find it. I used to get it from Vitacost.com. That's where I get like all of my bulk herbs and my supplements from. But now, you know, they have it at Wegmans. So, oh, and I think I've even gotten it at Ross, because I've gotten spirulina powder from Ross at a really good price. I did get moringa from them. I got turmeric from them. But when I got the turmeric, I was like, why did I do that? I have turmeric at home. I cook with turmeric. But you can get turmeric there also. And again, moringa is so good for anemics. Very, very good. I learned that myself personally because I had stopped taking the iron tabs that the doctor prescribed for me because they just weren't working. And I was exclusively just doing moringa smoothies every morning. And that was the only time that my hemoglobin had gone up to the 11 percentile, and which it was still lower than it was supposed to be, but it never did that with those capsules, with the pills themselves. And the only other time I did that was recently, and that was after I had I think it's after I had the 2 pints of liquid iron infusion. So there you go. So fibroids, talking about fibroids, the causes of fibroids. They're saying that they don't really know why we get fibroids, especially Black women, why we get them at such high rates. But one of the things they're thinking is stress, because you know, child, we Black women have so much stress. Just in life, worrying about our children, our sons getting killed by the police when they go out to the store or to the, the university or whatever. There's just a lot of stress. And so, of course, stress goes to the reproductive organ. So it makes sense to me, but they're not saying that's definitely what it is, but they're kind of throwing it around like it may be that. I know back in the 90s, I had a friend who was a naturopathic doctor. And he said that scientists, I guess doctors, whoever, had done a lot of research that showed the chemical makeup of fibroids is the same chemical makeup of the hormones that are in chicken. And you know we love some chicken. I'm just saying. So, I mean, that makes sense to me too, with these chicken shacks all through the hood and everything. So, who knows? Almost done. So I don't know every way that they may do perform hysterectomies, but I do know that there is the robotic or the laparoscopic way in which they just put small cuts. Like they may put three small cuts. I think it's like one on each side of your, I guess where the ovaries are. So on each side of your, what do you call? Like almost where your hips are, and then one in the umbilical cord. And I think for that one, I think they also take the uterus out vaginally. Child, that make me just cringe, but he pull it on out of there. And then there's the open. I'm getting open because my doctor says that she thinks it will be a lot better for my healing and everything, because I have other issues, which I don't know if you ever look through any of my videos, you'll find out what that is. But so she said that's better for me and for better for my healing process, it being quicker and less severe. But what I read though is that they normally opt for the open with black women, which I find interesting. But I have not done research on it. I just read it, so who knows? Like the whys and all that sort of thing. But I do know, the medical healthcare professionals still do not really take black women's health very seriously. They don't take our pain, our fears, our questions, or anything very seriously. So who knows? I'm like the rest of y'all. I have my own questions and conspiracies about why it is that black women, out of 400,000 hysterectomies per year, so every 12 months, like 320,000 of them are the black and brown women. But I'm not going to go there because I have no proof. And so the last thing I wanted to say is know that when your woman goes for surgery, she is going to be intubated. So they first will put her to sleep through an IV, knock her out. Then they're going to put a tube down her throat and a catheter in her hoo-ha. So up it into the urethra, which is the pee hole, so to say. And so she's going to have some pain afterwards, more than likely, when they take it out, when they finish surgery. She may have the catheter in her for anywhere up to a couple of days or whatever. I saw a couple of women say they had to wear the catheter home, I think. I don't like a catheter because I know catheters cause UTIs very, very often. So I'm not happy about that at all. But if she's able to go to the bathroom on her own and stuff, they may take it out. Just ask, remember, let her know it's her body, because you also will need to be an advocate for her. Maybe your woman isn't the type to speak up much, or maybe she's going to be so out of it and in pain or whatever, or maybe she's just going to be like, that's what the doctor said, that's what it's going to be. So you may have to actually be an advocate for her. But yeah, just understand that when they take it out, her throat may be very sore, so you might want to have some lozenges on hand for her. She may have burning upon urination because of the catheter coming out. Hopefully she won't get an UTI or urinary tract infection. So yeah, I think that's it. That's all I can think of pertaining to that. But I did want to give a couple of shout outs, because I did shout out my uncle there, because he's been a good ear, and he has experience with this his wife and everything had gone through some things, so I think that was okay to say. But so because of that, he's able to be there for me. And plus he has women all around him. He has so many daughters and everything, so he knows how to kind of be there. He's learned how to be there and to be empathetic and be that sort of female partner, you know what I'm saying? And so I also want to give a shout out to my son because he is coming up here from Jersey to like sit with me and all this. He was talking about carrying me up the stairs, child. We ain't gonna do that. But nonetheless, he's willing to, and he's gonna come home. And I'm gonna put him to work for a couple of days. But also, I want to give a super shout out to my partner. Um, Again, another person who is super empathetic to women and has a lot of women around him, so he gets it. And that's not really saying much because a lot of brothers have like women around them, but they may not necessarily respect them or know how to be empathetic. They may want to be and just don't know how to be. So I just want to give love to those men in my life who are just always so supportive and there for me. And I love y'all so much. I do. So with that, this is a long behind video. Peace, and I hope you guys really put some time and effort into learning about us women a little bit more. We're more than just that thing that y'all always trying to get to. Peace.